Well, I grew up in Silsbee, Texas. My mother was an elementary school teacher. My dad was a small business owner, actually owned an auto salvage business. He was very successful at it. Learned a lot about business from him. I had a sister, one sibling, 12 years younger. So when I started college, she started first grade. We really didn't vacation or travel much because my father was tied to the business. I loved playing Silsbee Tiger football. I was offered a scholarship to McNeese State in Lake Charles and played there. I kept holding out for that offer from the University of Houston. It never came. After a couple years of playing college football, I think I learned that it wasn't going to be good enough to play on Sundays. Maybe it was time to give it up and do something different. Well, deciding to transfer to the University of Houston was sort of a natural thing for me after I decided to give up athletics. I realized pretty quickly I wanted to be engaged socially, so I decided to pledge a fraternity. Now, I was 20 years old at the time. I had a particular guy in a class. He invited me to a rush party, and I remember parking in front of the house and thinking, I won't know anyone in there. I won't know a soul. Do I really want to do this? And I finally raked enough courage to go in, knock on the front door. Lo and behold, on the other side of that door was my future wife. Later on, as the weeks went by, I raked up enough courage to ask her out. We went on that first date, and we were a couple. From then on, got married a couple of years later, and we'll celebrate our 42nd wedding anniversary in July of this year. My career really got its start with a little help from my father-in-law. My father-in-law is a petroleum engineer, and he said, well, I know some guys, I know some people in the drilling fluids business. I went in for an interview, got the job as a mud man. So there was some schooling that was involved with that. Gotten about halfway through the classwork, and the whole class was let go. So after I was let go, I pretty quickly figured out that I was going to have to do something on my own to be able to have any security. Shortly thereafter, I did go to work for another independent in the Permian Basin, and then I started a company called Lone Star Mud. I subsequently sold it to Patterson UTI. From there, I started sledge drilling, sold it to Basic Energy Services. All this time, I was investing in oil and gas production, and then I'm involved with some friends in a company called ProPetro Holdings. We recently took it public in March of 2017. We're really proud to be able to do that at this point in our career because we've had all these startups. We've ended up selling them to other entities and have given up our culture along the way. Becky and I have two children. We have Emily, who's a physician's assistant and lives in Richardson. Our son, Davis, is a petroleum landman, works for Chisholm Energy in Fort Worth. Being a granddad is great. It's reward for all those years of parenting and those tough decisions. You can just spoil your grandkids and they're fun to be around. Really proud of all of them. My involvement at U of H is around my meeting Renew Couture for the first time. I remember upon the conclusion of that meeting, I just told Becky, we've got to get involved. There have been so many accomplishments under Renew's term, and I've had a front row seat. It's been fantastic. And when I think about where I'd be without the University of Houston, that is just a big unknown. I don't even like to think about that because the outcome could have been very different. I met my wife at the University of Houston. I went from a small community to the big city. I think I learned a lot about myself. When I received the call from Mike today that I've been chosen to receive this award, I'm not sure I deserve it, but I'll do my best to wear it well.